There's only one way out, and that is to do the work of removing these obstacles that are in the way of the state of absolute beauty and ecstasy of divinity. So, okay, first you recognize. Don't be afraid to recognize. There's nothing wrong with seeing the rocks. If you don't, I'm going to use this analogy. If you don't like seeing the rocks, you will never get them out, right or wrong. If I sit there and somebody told me there are rocks in the water and they're causing all the currents, I'm so afraid of them because I don't like the currents. I don't want to see rocks. Do you? No, I don't like rocks. They cause trouble. They must be of the devil or something, all right? So I don't want to see these rocks. Well, you're never going to see them. You're never going to deal with them. You're never going to do anything because you're afraid of them. You understand that? That's denial. It's psychology, denial, fear, etc. You have to be willing to sit there and say, I have now progressed spiritually to the point of understanding that I am blocking the flow of God, the flow of Shakti, the flow of spirit from inside of me. I am doing it. I am doing it. There, that's your first point, right? Nobody's making you drink. Go to AA, right? Nobody's making you drink. Oh, no, she drives me to drinking. No. My job drive, no. Go, come back when you're ready. Right? You're the one who's drinking. You're the one who picks the glass up and pours stuff in it and puts it in your mouth and swallows. Right or wrong? Nobody else is doing it. It's the same thing here. You have put these blockages inside yourself, and you are holding these blockages inside of yourself. So if you're not willing to look at them, nothing good is going to happen. Do you understand that? All right. So you start with what we call witness consciousness. Krishnamurti called it the seat of objective observation. But you will not be willing to look at yourself objectively while you are judging yourself. Do you understand? And what that means is, I don't want to see what I'm looking at. That's what judging does. You have to be excited. I remember when I first got to the point that instead of thinking that stuff inside of me that was causing all this trouble was what I don't want, it's terrible, it's keeping me from God, I try to meditate above it, I do anything I can to get rid of it. And then I realized, no, this is what's keeping me from God. Therefore, if I see something, it's exciting. You have to change your entire attitude about yourself. The worse it is inside, the better. The more trouble it causes, oh my God, I got myself a big fish. All right? You have to feel that I am willing to deal with this stuff. I am willing to look at this stuff, not get in it. Well, that's the whole thing. Psychology goes the wrong way. They get you started, right? But we're going to see the difference between spirituality and psychology as we go through this. So first, you have to be awake. If you are not awake, what does that mean, I'm not awake? We talk about it spiritually, right? They're awake. Not enlightened, just awake. What does it mean? It means that normally the stuff that's going on inside is so overwhelming, it is so strong. Not only do you not want to look at it and you can't deal with it, but you are lost in it. You're in the rapids drowning. Well, you can't very well be outside looking at the rocks. You're trying to survive. You're trying to keep your head above the water, aren't you? Right? You're trying to take a breath, trying to everyone not go down 3 times. That's where a normal human being is they are in the fear of drowning. So they're not looking at what's causing it. They're just trying to keep their head above the water. Can you relate to that? All right? The worse our times are, the more we're like that. You have to be able to get out of the water, which is, again, witness consciousness. Your consciousness has extricated itself from being in it. It didn't get rid of it yet, but it can watch it. It can see it. All right, and how do you do that? Meditation. Meditation is great. Mantra is great. See, all of a sudden there's techniques. But the techniques are not about going to God. The techniques are about first getting out of the water. Well, why would meditation work? Because the noise that's going on inside of you is creating disturbance. When you sit down to meditate, what you're sitting there saying, I don't care how you meditate, it's your business. When you sit down to meditate, you're saying, for let's say 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. That's what nowadays they teach you guys. Fine. All right? You sit down, and for this 15 minutes, it's not about going to God. That's why people can't meditate, because they just set these standards and then they burn themselves out. It's not about seeing blue pearls. It's not about seeing white lights. It's not about going to God. It's about, I have set aside 15 minutes to practice being aware of being aware. That's what it is. Don't come to me and say, I can't meditate. I say, why? There's no such thing. I don't understand. Why? You say, well, every time I sit down, my mind just goes crazy. It won't stop. It keeps talking. I'm going to touch your feet. I'm going to pranam to you, bow down, I'll touch your feet. You have to come back 3 times where you figure out what I'm doing. All right? You just told me that for 15 minutes you were the witness of your mind. My mind won't shut up. It keeps talking about this. Somebody's watching. So during that 15 minutes, you actually watched that your mind wouldn't shut up. That's a very high state. Do you see why people screw up meditation? Because they define meditation as the mind shutting up. No, that's not. That's just a state that you can have there. But if your mind doesn't shut up, and you're aware that your mind doesn't shut up, if your heart is bothering you and you're aware that your heart's bothering you, I was trying to meditate, but then this thing came back up from before that bothered me. I don't know why, but it happened years ago, and my heart started hurting, and I just sat there and watched it. Like, good. Do you understand that?